Those of you still queuing up here, relax, sit back, enjoy. Welcome back to the second last installment of the Ottawa Redblacks Virtual Coaching Clinic presented by the OSEG Foundation. Really appreciate all of you who have joined in over the last couple of weeks. Those of you who are coming back and tuning in for another one, welcome back. Those of you joining us for the first time, you picked a solid night to hop in. We've got Coach WYLIE here. We've got a few of our guys. You just saw Coach LaPolice. Just having himself a lovely night, lurking in the background. Coach Benny's here. I think that was Coach Suber that was piping in just by audio earlier. So everyone's watching. We're looking forward to it. As always, a huge thanks to all of you who work in the coaching community for teaching the young football players. We couldn't, these kids wouldn't be where they are and getting to where they're going to go without you. Massive thanks to our friends at the OSEG Foundation for putting on this series. This foundation's incredible. They've already put nearly $1 million back into the community to improve access to sports for youth. And they're working to leverage that power of sport in everything that they do to make sure that kids everywhere have the same kind of access in our community to get involved in the sports that they love. So thank you to the OSEG Foundation. That's enough for me. Without further ado, I'm going to bring on Coach WYLIE. But he's not just a coach, folks. He's a magician. He's a pilot. He's a musician. He's just generally one of the more interesting guys you're going to come across in this game. Hoping he's going to prove me right tonight. You may know him from his 30+ years of coaching experience. You may know him from Hard Knocks. Please welcome Ottawa Redblacks offensive line coach Bob WYLIE.
Gentlemen, ladies, whoever's watching, glad to be here. I want to share some information that I've acquired over the past that actually I've been coaching in professionally for 33 years, okay, and 26 in the National Football League, and this will be my 8th or 7th. I got 7 in, I think, right now. This will be the 8th, and that's 34 years in the CFL. Okay, I've been to a few Grey Cups and the Super Bowl, and I coached at every level of football: Pop Warner, junior high school, college, and pro football. So I know about just enough to be dangerous. I've worked with Coach LaPolice before in Saskatchewan and over in Winnipeg. We've had some successful teams. Okay, one of the most heartbreaking loss I had was at Saskatchewan, where we were in the Grey Cup. We were playing Montreal. We were a 12-point underdog, and we're beating them. It comes down to the last play of the game, and Montreal kicks a field goal and misses it, and we win 27-25. Not so fast. We had 13 guys on the field, right? We move the ball 10 yards closer, okay, and make it the second time with no time on the clock, and we lose the game 28-27. And the point of the story is that I don't believe that you have to make plays. You don't make plays, okay? Plays will come, okay? You do your job. You just do your job. And if you do your job, the plays will occur, okay? Just do whatever job you're supposed to do, whatever you're coached to do that job. If you put the ball on the 50-yard line or 55 in the center line in the CFL, if you put the ball on the center line and the defense does their job the way they're supposed to do it, and the offense does their job the way they're supposed to do it, that ball would stay on the 50-yard line, okay? And the only way that ball is going to move is if somebody punts it one way or the other, okay? But what happens, somebody doesn't do their job, right? Somebody doesn't cover a gap and there's a seam and the ball goes through it, okay? Somebody doesn't block the defensive end, lets the defensive end and the quarterback's running, and there's a sack, right? So the ball moves, okay, minus yardage play, okay? Somebody gets beat on the coverage and the ball moves again, ball goes down the field. Somebody creates an interception and the ball comes back the other way. So it's by people doing their job that make it all happen, okay? It's not, hey, you need to go out and make a play. No, you need to go out and just do what you're coached to do, okay? So going back, okay, and trying to give you guys some of the basic fundamentals of this, that man's been on the planet for 200,000 years. The oldest carbon fiber dated of man is about 200,000 years old, somewhere around there, give or take give or take a few thousand years, okay? But the thing is, the body still works the same way. The body works exactly the same way as it did 200,000 years ago, right? And it may look a little different. Well, some of us look a little different, some of us don't. That's another whole story, okay? But the body, the joints, you know, your arms, your hands, your elbows, your shoulders, your hips, your knees, your ankles, man, all the joints, they basically work the same way they did 200,000 years ago, okay? So, all right, so you have to learn how the body works and how to line up things in the body, okay? And line up your angles in your body, all right? So that your body, right, can perform at the highest, right? At the highest production level that it's made to perform at, okay? Where speed and power come together because your angles are right, okay? Your body angles are held right, okay? So I'm gonna give you guys a question out there, and I'm gonna answer the question because I don't, well, you guys may have questions later. Let me see if I can pull some of this stuff up and show you. Let me share my screen here.
And while you're doing that, Coach, I'll just chime in. Yes, if anyone has questions during tonight's session, you can use the Q&A function on your Zoom here, and I'll keep track of those, and we can get to those at any time, Coach, or at the end of the session. No problem at all.
Now, I got the share on over here. It says share. I'm not the, you know, I can fly jet airplanes, and these computers drive me crazy. All right, okay, can you guys see my screen? Okay.
Yeah,
so
we can see
stuff up here.
We can see your web browser there.
Okay, how about this here?
There you go.
You see that? Oh, you guys can see that, okay?
Yeah, we're good to go there.
We're good to go with that. All right, let me get down here. Make that a little bigger. Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you a question here, okay? And the question is going to be, if I ask you guys, give me the concept of leverage. What is the concept of leverage? Everybody talks about leverage. This game is a game of leverage, okay? But if I ask you what the leverage is, a lot of times I get, right, one guy's lower than the other. I need to be lower than the other guy. It's a fulcrum. It's, you know, it's the way you fit into the defender. There's a lot of different questions or answers that I get when I ask, you know, what is the concept of leverage? And I'm going to make it as easy as I can and use a little stick drawing here about what the concept of leverage. So if I draw this little stick guy here, let's see if I can get this thing done right. I'm going to draw a little stick man. And there we go. I'll put that guy up there like that. Okay. And I'm going to make a little stick guy here. Here. Right then here. And back down again. Not very good, but you guys will get the idea when I'm finished. Okay. Let's give him some shoulders, little arms and hands. Okay. Now the body has two power producing angles. Everybody should agree to that, I would think, okay? You have a lower body power angle, starts right there at the knee, and you have an upper body power angle that starts over here. Everybody has those two power producing angles, okay? And what the concept of what is, everybody agree to that? You have those two power producing angles. You may want to try to draw this little picture, okay? And now what you want to do is you want to take the upper body power angle, okay? You want to take the upper body power angle and you want to segment it from the lower body power angle, okay? So I want to take this angle that's right here, this angle that's here, that angle right there. Can you guys see all that? Okay, I want to take that angle and I want to take that angle and I want to take it so it goes upright. I need to segment the guy's spine so that angle goes that way. Okay, so I want to increase the angle, okay, of the defender. Take the angle and make it greater than. Okay, so we take that angle and make it greater than like this. If I can do that to the defender, if I can segment his upper body power angle from his lower body power angle, then I've won. I've won, period, I've won, okay? Whether I take the guy inside, I take the guy outside, okay? But the farther you get that angle segmented, okay, the more in control you are, right, as an offensive blocker. You got better position. So what you do is you need some type of force line. Your line of force that runs through the middle of your body, okay? I have to take that and I have to send it through the defender's middle of his body. Somewhere along like that. A force line going through the defender to get the upper body, okay, segmented. So if I can get that force line like that, okay, and I can get this angle created, then I've created leverage. Okay, now you can be lower than the guy, you can be higher than the guy. It can be a lifting action, okay, right? I just need to get the guy's spine angle segmented. You know, some of the bigger players I've had in my career, those guys that are 6'7", 6'8", it's tough to get down underneath those defensive ends and create that. So they have to get their hands inside, and it's more of a lifting action, okay, to get the upper body segmented. Some of the guys that are a little shorter, right, yeah, they'll be able to get down underneath the guy's pads and get them up that way, okay, right? But when somebody asks you the definition of leverage, right, it's segmenting the upper body power angle from the lower body power angle, right? And I don't care where you are on the field, it doesn't matter, right? The receivers, the running backs blocking, the linebackers, the offensive line blocking, the defensive line, okay? The tight ends blocking, the outside linebackers, not that we use tight ends a lot, okay? Right, but those guys, okay, it all works the same way, okay? Now, write some of this stuff down, okay? At the point of contact, when you first initiate the contact, when you first touch the defender, okay? The guys, this holds up, okay? So I say little buzz things that hold up, okay? Normally, the guy who touches the other guy first wins, okay? So I want to get my hands on the defender quicker than he gets his hands on me, okay? I want to get my hands on him, right, on a lower part of his body, but I need to get him on him, okay? Probably in the area where, you know, God took a rib from man, he created Eve. That messed us all up for a few thousand years or longer, okay? But that happens, okay? Well, where there's a rib missing, right, I want to get my hand somewhere in that area of the guy's body, okay? Right, I want to get him in there, all right? When I touch him, okay, at the first point of contact, right, I want both feet in the ground. Not one, right, not one in, one on, and I want to be on my toes. I want to have, years ago, we used to have 7 spikes on the bottom of the shoes. Okay, now there's like 5,000. Okay, but it used to be 7. As you say, they're all 7 spikes in the ground. Okay, I want my feet just under my hips or slightly behind me. Okay, I don't want to be too elongated where my center of gravity is too far forward. Okay, so there's a process of touching the other guy first, and my perfect body posture. When I first hit that defender, right, my feet want to be underneath me, right? They want to be, spikes want to be in the ground, okay? And my hands are on the defender at the first point of contact. Can everybody visualize that, okay? Right, if I can get myself in that position, right, then I got a pretty good chance that I'm going to win this battle, okay? So that's the first thing, okay? The guy who touches the other guy first normally wins. It's not 100%, but you got a better chance that way, okay? Short steps are better than long steps. You take short steps, you get your feet on the ground. You don't take long steps with your feet, okay? Don't do that, okay? Because one foot stays on the ground too long. I want my feet moving in short steps, right? Closing distances on the defender, okay? So I can be able to adjust with the guy if he starts to move. If I take long steps, one foot stays on the ground too long, and if the guys move, normally I'll miss the guy, okay? I won't cross over, okay? It doesn't get pretty. So I tell the guys, short steps are better than long steps. That's number 2. Whoever touches the defender first, right? Right. Short steps are better than long steps. Write that down. Right. You don't want to keep your feet on the ground too long. You want to keep your feet moving. Okay. Keep your feet moving. You don't want to be on the balls of your feet. Okay. I don't know if anybody can see my hands, if they can see me. Okay. You don't want to be on the balls of your feet. Okay, like this. My hands and my feet. You want to, the nature of the body, the way the body's built, okay, is your feet turn out a little bit. If everybody stood up that's watching me, just stand up and stop, okay? When you look at your feet, okay, you're going to look down and you're going to see that your feet are like this, right? They're pointed out just a little bit. That's the way the body's built. That's the way the body's built, okay? That's the way the body is supposed to work. Very few people on the planet walk around with their feet going straight down like this, right? But what I see a lot of times, okay, is guys are trying to coach guys that keep their feet straight. No, they keep their feet out a little bit, guys, okay? Right, if you keep your feet straight, listen to what I'm telling you, okay? If you keep your feet straight and you try to turn your hips one way or the other, it locks the hip. The hip can't turn, so you're gonna have a problem adjusting. Okay, same thing. You don't see golfers with their feet. You always see golfers do what? They have their feet turned out just a hair. Why? So their hips can rotate. Their hips, they can adjust. They can open and close their hips. Okay, same thing with offensive linemen. Okay, so as you take a step, okay, as I put that foot on the ground, right, this is how fine and detailed it is. Okay, my feet are pointed out a little bit. I take a short step. Some guys teach a lateral step. Some guys it's a lead step. Some guys it's a little drop step. It's what we need so we can cover the defender up. Okay, it's what we need to cover the defender up. All right, my foot on his foot. My foot on his foot. Okay, so I can adjust with him. Now that one step, taking that one step, just that one step. Okay, there's a lot of things that occur. There's a whole mess of things that occur when you take that one step, all right? First, your shoulders should always be going forward, not up. Shoulders are coming forward. Your hands are coming from the ground. There may be a little bend to get on the defender, but really you want to try to get them on the ground as fast as off the ground as fast as you can and get them on a defender, all right? Your shoulders are going forward and not up, okay? When that foot hits the ground, okay, your knee is slightly inside your ankle. Your knee is slightly inside your ankle. You guys got that? Right? Just a little bit, slightly inside your ankle, right? Your body weight, okay, or weight is going to the inside of your thigh. See, I'm the right guard stepping with the right foot, okay? The weight's going to the inside of my thigh, my right thigh. It's going to the inside of my right calf, and it's going down to my right arch on the inside half of the foot. It's not going over the top of the foot, and it's not going outside that foot, okay? So when that foot hits the ground, I'm going to show you some slides here in a minute, not slides, some video in a minute, okay? You're going to see the position of their feet in that knee, okay? We do that, okay, so that the second step, okay, doesn't cross over. Okay, I don't want the second step crossing over. Right, I'm talking about a dry block. I'm talking about lining up and blocking the guy that's in front of me one-on-one. I'm not talking about a specific play. Right, I'm just trying to get a sequence of motion to teach you, right, and how the body's going to work. Okay, how the body is going to work. Okay, so my eyes are on the target, which is 1 inch outside the sternum of the defender. Okay, right? The ball, the snap, the quarterback's giving us the command, the snap count. Okay, well, first thing that happens, my foot's moving, my hands are coming, my shoulders are going forward, my center of gravity's starting to move. Okay, my foot's getting on the ground. Okay, my weight's going through the inside of that thigh, the inside of that calf, to the inside of that foot. And that's the first step. If I could break it down farther than the first step, I would. I can't, okay? It starts with the very first step. The most important thing in offensive line play, guys, the most important thing in offensive line play, Okay, everybody thinks it's this scheme, it's that scheme. No, it's not. None of that stuff. Okay, schemes are the last thing. Schemes are way down the line. Okay, right. The most important thing on offensive line play is your angle of departure from the line of scrimmage. How you leave the line of scrimmage is the most important thing. And whether it's a run play or whether it is a pass play, right? Doesn't matter. Your angle of departure, leaving the line of scrimmage, is critical. If you leave at the wrong angle, then you're always behind on the guy. You know, there's very few, I don't know if you guys know Joe Thomas or Anthony Munoz, those guys are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, okay, down in the States, or Gene Mikowski or Jeremy O'Day that I had. Those guys were really, really good football players, okay? When they left the line of scrimmage, okay, their angles, okay, were nearly perfect, okay, when they're leaving the line of scrimmage, right? And very few of those guys, sometimes those guys can mess up a little bit, but they were such great athletes that they recover and make it up. There's not many of those guys out there, okay? So you have to do it nearly perfectly all the time, okay? So that's the first step, the very first step, all right? That's a dissertation on one step because it's so important, okay? It's so important. Now the second step, I want to get the second step on the ground, right, as quick as I can, right? I want to get the second step on the ground as quick as I can. Now, where are my aiming points and my targets that I need, my landmarks, okay, that I need to get to? I got to block a guy that's on me, okay? He's on my outside shoulder. When I take my first step, I want to cover his outside foot up with my outside foot. Now, I don't mean I want to step on that guy's foot. No, I still want to take a short step. What I'm saying is I'm covering him up, taking my outside foot and covering his outside foot, okay? That's the first thing, short step in that direction. So I get my body covered up on his body, right? And my helmet is 1 inch outside the sternum of the defender. The second step, I get on the ground as quick as possible, and it goes on the ground just on the defender's inside toe or right on his toes, right? I can't tell the difference if it's on his inside toe or head up on that foot. Doesn't really matter too much, okay? But those are the angles I want. If I know those two angles that I need, those two aiming points, 1 inch outside the sternum, okay, and get the second step on the defender's inside foot. Don't step on it. No, it goes in that direction. Short steps are better than long steps, right? You're usually going to make contact just on or after your second step. Just on or after your second step, you're going to make contact with the defender. You're going to have your hands on him, okay? Your line of force is going to be 1 inch outside the sternum of the defender, right? Your feet are going to be just underneath your hips or slightly behind you, okay? That's what's going to happen, okay? If you've done it picture perfect, right? Second step, short steps are better than long steps. Good body posture in the fit, okay? The third thing that's going to happen, the third part of it, the third step, you're going to get width and distance on the third step, okay? Right. So if you take one step, okay, I don't know if you guys can still see me. Yeah, hang on. You can still see my hands. There we go. If you take one step, I take the first step, right? Then the second step comes. 1, 2, 1, 2. The third step, I need to get width over and distance down the field at the same time. I'm getting width and distance at the same time. A 3-step approach, okay? 3-step approach. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And you do it over and over and over and over. And it's impossible to do it enough. It really, truly is impossible to do a 3-step drill. Now, I use squares and stuff to teach all this stuff. I break down how the body works in this 1 square progression that I have. So all the little pieces to a drive block, right, I practice, okay? And at the end of the progression, I put it all together and actually run the block. Now, I work on squares, okay? I just give you a little dissertation of the angle of departure leaving the line of scrimmage. I work on squares, okay? I was sick and tired of watching film and watching guys, okay, where two guys are doing something in the drill and there's all these other guys standing around. If you come to one of our practices, you see in my drills, that doesn't happen, okay? They're all working together, okay? So I use squares. Now, these squares that you see up here, guys, are 5 yards apart, okay? If you don't have room for 5, make them 4 yards. If you don't have room for that, make them 3. But get some squares so that they line up where they need to line up, right? Now, these I call run squares. I tell them, guys, get on your run squares, right? So the first thing we practice is the stance, okay? I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the stance. All you need to know on your stance is you want the inside foot flat. The inside foot is flat on the ground. Get that off the toes. Get the knee inside that inside ankle, okay? The outside foot can have stagger from the heel, from the arch, to the heel. Now, some of the taller guys have longer legs. They will have a bigger stagger. They can't have it too back because they won't be able to go to their left or if they're on the right side. The guys on the right side are in a right-handed stance. The guys on the left side are in a left-handed stance. People say, why is that occurring for pass protection? No, that not occur for pass pro. When we first started this way back in the 80s, okay, it was for actually running because you can take a more accurate first step with your staggered foot than you can with your up foot, okay? So that's why we started it, and it just happened to fit in to the pass pro techniques, okay? Guys on the right side, right-handed stance. Guys on the left side, left-handed stance, okay? Right, so there's a little stagger that they bend their knees are slightly inside their ankles, okay? Their tail is down. The tail's not up. Tail dragging and get their tail down, okay? They take their hand, right, and they put it from their eye to their earlobe, anywhere from the eye to the earlobe, in that space there, a couple inches, right? They reach out and they put all 5 fingertips on the ground, right? They have very little weight on the down hand. They got some, but it's very little because I need them to be able to go right, left, forward, backwards, so on and so forth. Okay, I need to be able to get out of their stance. I need to be able to have them pull. Okay, so I have very little weight. Now I'm just talking about open field football. I'm not talking about goal line. I'm not talking about short yardage. I'm talking about 1st and 10 stuff, 2nd and 6 stuff like that. Okay. Right. Well, I guess it would be 2nd and 6. You might be standing, you may be in a 2-point stance if you're a tackle. Okay. So that's where that hand goes. The offhand. What do I do with the off arm? Okay. I take the inside of the elbow, all right, and I put it on the outside of the knee, and I have them relax. I don't want them all tight in their stance, right? Because what happens, you get down, you get tight in your stance, and the guy squints in his fist, right? And then he's got the other, he's got his fist all tight, right? And he's got it on the top of his thigh. Okay, now his shoulders are on this angle, right? His shoulders are at a tilted angle. Okay, well, when the quarterback calls for the ball, in order to go someplace, you have to relax your muscles to go move. Well, why do you want to be in that state all tensed up to relax your muscles if you're going to go someplace? Just relax in your stance. Relax, right? Don't put your head way up, okay? Just get your eyes up high enough so you can see through your eyebrows, okay? See what the hell's going on out there, okay? But you're in a relaxed state at that point in time. Don't worry, okay? When the ball's snapped, right, you're going to get unrelaxed pretty quickly when you hit that other guy across the other side of the ball. There will be a noisy collision. Trust me, it will be a noisy collision, okay? All right, so we go through the stance, all right? I'll show you how this all works. And then there's the demeanor drill, where we go through, okay? Let me see if I can move this here. All right. I said, get on your squares. Everybody gets on their squares. Now watch what happens, guys. See how fast I can get through. You got the centers. They're all lined up over here, right? Here's all the centers. Then you got all the right guards, right? And you got all the right tackles, right? Same thing, left guards, left tackles. They're all in their stances, all right? They're on the squares. You got the big coach over here, right? You got a 10-yard area here. It's 10 yards. So you run squares. That's the way you should line up. You have one more square. Got 5 linemen. I got 6 squares. You have one more square, and you have players. All right. If I was in the National Football League and I had the tight ends with me all the time, right? Then I'd have another square. That's 7 squares. Okay, but these are the run squares. Okay, the first thing we talk about is the stance, right? And then we talk about the demeanor, forward, backward, side to side. Okay, now every time we move in a demeanor, I want there, let's continue on here. Let me see this. Every time we're moving in a demeanor, okay, I want them going side to side and forward and backwards, okay? Right, and every time they move, I don't want their shoulders raising up. If they go forward, if they come back, if they go side to side, their eye level and their shoulder level stays on the same plane. Right and left, it stays exactly on the same plane. Right? I hope I haven't lost anybody. So every time they're moving, I want their elbows in, their hands up, okay? Now, they can shake their hands when they go side to side, and they have to pump their arms when they go back and forth. It's tough to move and not do anything with your hands. So they shake their hands a little bit side to side, okay? And they pump their arms a little bit going forward and backwards, right? Now, later on in my career, I got a little more intelligent, not that I am, but I got tennis balls, and they get a tennis ball in their hand, and they can roll the tennis ball while they're doing it in their hand, because it keeps their thumbs up and their elbows in, which is a good, right, good thing to do, because it keeps you strong, makes you stronger, okay? Right? If your thumbs are up and out, okay, and your elbows are tight to your body, you've become stronger. I'll explain that in a minute, okay? Right, so that's the demeanor part of it, right? And then I have this duck demeanor. Here, right over here, it says duck demeanor on the screen. Right there, duck demeanor. What's duck demeanor? You have to teach them how to run with their knees bent. They don't know how to do that. That's a taught thing. You have to teach them how to run with a base with their knees bent inside their ankles, okay? So I make them run up for 10 yards, and first group goes. First group goes for 10 yards and turns around. Second group goes for 10 yards and turns around. Third group goes for 10 yards and turns around. Right foot up, left foot back, right? Last group back is the next group back up. So they turn around, they come back, set hut, set hut, set hut. Everybody's back where they started from. Everybody's back. I can work a lot of guys in a short period of time, right? So there go duck demeanor. So first it's the stance, right? Then it's the demeanor drill, okay? Then it's duck demeanor, running with your knees bent. Running with your knees bent. Let's see if I can continue on here. Right, the next thing we do is that angle of departure drill. Angle of departure, steps 1, 2, and 3. Different angles of departure. What I do is I get, now there should be a center here, but because of the aesthetics of the drawing, I have to center off here, but there should be a center here. Put a bag on him. Right shoulder or left shoulder, it doesn't matter. Okay, you can start off one day on the right shoulder, next day on the left shoulder. Right, but you put the bag down. You put the inside part of the bag. Okay, so it splits the defender's, the offensive guy's crotch. So that point right there, the inside point of that bag, that's the defender's inside foot. Okay, the outside point of that bag, that's the defender's outside foot. So it gives them an aiming landmark that they can come off the ball and they can see, where do I need to put my first step and where does the second step go? Where does the first step go? Where does the second step go? Now this here is a 3 technique. Okay, you have to do it with a 2 technique. You even have to do it if the guy's got a 1 technique on him. So if I got a defender and the guy's on his inside, you have to put the bag there too. Okay, so you have to keep moving the bag around because you're leaving the line of scrimmage at different angles, and it's all based on where the defender lines up. Fundamental football. This is nothing fancy about this stuff. I'm going to show you some stuff, all right, that you're going to see these are the pro guys doing this stuff. Okay, so I take the first step, which I explained to you guys. I take the second step, and I take the third step. First step, here we go, guys. Set hut, hold it. First step again, set hut, hold it. And I make them hold it. Okay, finish. Right, I do it 3 times. First step, set hut. Okay, 2-step approach. Here we go, guys. Set hut. Here we go, they take 2 steps. Set hut, 2 steps. Set hut, 2 steps. And then they go 3 steps. Same thing. Set hut, 1, 2, 3. Set hut, everything's in 3s. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There's a rhythm. I'm trying to create a rhythm with them. First step, second step, third step. I'm trying to get it so they're unconscious competence. So they don't think about it. They just do it. Like when you drive your car. You don't think about driving your car. That's like you're in the unconscious competence mind. Okay, you're just doing it. You're not thinking about it. I got to get them to be in that way. And I keep doing it over and over and over again until they get it. Some of them get it, some of them don't. Okay, so now we're into leaving the line of scrimmage, right? Right. Next thing. All right, where's my next thing here? There we go. Next thing. All right, punch, flipper, and freeze. Okay, I'll skip this one for now. This is a little advanced stuff here. Okay, fit, drive, and finish. Okay, what happens now? The defender, there's no more. There's a bag here. The guy, they get the bags. The first group's on one side, second group's on the other side. Okay, and the defender fits. Right, you fit into defender. You've already hit the guy. Right, you've got your elbows in, your thumbs are up. Okay, you're on your insteps. Okay, your knees are back. You've got perfect body posture when you hit the defender. That's the starting position. Okay, right. When I say set hot, okay, right, the offensive guy move his hips stop. His hips will stop. His hips will start to go, and then his feet will start coming. Okay, keep your feet going. Don't stop your feet. Okay, but I got to coach the defender more. The defender goes one way, and then he comes back the other way, and he comes back the other way, and he comes back the other way. I got to coach the defender more for 10 yards than I do the offensive guy. I'm trying to teach the offensive guy to stay on the block, but if the defender just goes straight back, it doesn't help the offensive guy. So he's got to move to his right, he's got to move to his left, back to his right, back to his left, so the offensive guy has to stay on the block, and then everything at the end is a finish. We finish, right? And I'll yell, finish, so everybody on the field can hear it, okay? I want everything to finish in the drill. You teach them how to finish. And whistle doesn't mean stop, the whistle means finish. Okay, so this is zigzag run. Fit, drive, and finish. Fit, drive, and finish. It's a zigzag. Now, you just turn around, right? Right now, they change spots, and the other guy does it coming back, right? They all get back to where they started, right? It's all organized. Everybody's doing the same thing, right? I can get a lot of stuff accomplished in a short period of time, okay? Let's go to the next part here, because I want to get to the film so you can actually see this stuff, okay? But you got to see the square drill, okay? All right, now the next thing is the dry block. Now this one, I only have them do this one at a time, just one at a time, because I want to see the guy, okay, take the correct angle, correct step where his hands go, right? If his force line's in the right spot on the defender's body, okay, I want to see all that myself. You know what I mean? So I just come up and I'll say, 0 on 1, ready, set, hit, boom, they go. Okay, next guy, right? And I go right down the line, right? I go that guy, oh, excuse me. Right, I go the first guy, right, this guy goes, and next guy goes, right, the next guy goes, and next guy goes, right? And then I go to the next guy, next guy, till I get them all done. Now you can set them like this, or if you got enough room, you can have them all in a row, okay? So I just go from spot to spot, okay? And I look at the whole thing, the whole block. It's like, years ago, you talk about the birds and the bees. I don't know how many guys, you take a paper bag and you put a bird in it and you put a bee in it, and then you shake it up and a baby falls out, right? My God. Okay, this is the same kind of, I'm taking all the little pots in a dry block, just a dry block. Now, forget plays, forget schemes. In the dry block, I'm taking all the little pots that the body has to go through, and I'm taking those things and I'm making them in little separate drills for it. Then I take it at the end, right, in this run square thing, and I put them all together, okay? I put them all together, all little pots. It becomes a dry block. Now, there's other things you can do on these squares, right? Over here, you can teach them how to block down, okay? You can teach them how to trap. You can teach them how to pull to the right again. They end up where they go. Teach them how to sickle, pull to the right, sickle, pull to the right again. They come back where they belong. So you can organize a lot of different things on these squares, okay? That's just a blank worksheet. Now, you got pass squares. It's a different deal. We're only going to talk about one. We're not talking about pass, just the run squares. So these are the run squares, okay? Right? Very simple. I have them painted all over the field. Obviously, you can't do that. Right? In some places you go, you can use chalk. Okay, you may not be able to use paint. You know what I mean? Like I used to have them in all the end zones, whatever field I was on. So if I got to the end zone, I had a group I can. Because the offensive linemen, right? If they had their way, you could go practice as far away as you can from anybody else, and they put you where all the broken glass and dirt and stones and stuff are. And that's where you go practice. You go over there and practice. Right? They don't want you near anybody where anybody can see you. Okay, so that's why they're called mushrooms, because they're always left in the dark and they feed as shit. And that's how mushrooms grow. Okay, so that's now. Let's take a look and see if I can figure out how to get out of this thing. Okay, so I can show you. Okay, I can show you some of this film here. Okay, let me see if I got this right. Here we go. All right. Back this up a little bit for you. Everybody see this, so you can still see this?
Yeah, we got you, Coach.
So here's all the squares. You guys can see all the squares. They're painted. I got them painted all. These are 5. This is when I was with the Chicago Bears. Okay, right. I got my bags. Okay, I got the little harnesses. That's another story. Okay, you got all these squares, and they're painted all over the place. All over the place. Okay, so this is where they put us. As far as look at the dirt. Look at this. You don't see any nice stuff here. Look at it. Okay, you might think that they could have. They do just put us in the nice. They don't do that. They don't do that. So you guys can take a look at this. That's how I set up the drill. If you come to one of our practices, you're going to see it set up very similar to this. Okay, may not have the harnesses. I may have them grab their shirts. Okay, so that's what they do. Okay, that's what it's going to look like. All right. All right. All right. I get these balls for Pass Pro. You get them from the Gilman Company. If you call Neil Gilman, tell me you want the balls from Bob WYLIE, don't buy one of those sleds. I bought 2 of those. All right, here we go. This is the demeanor. Okay. See, they move side to side and forward and backwards. Let me see if I can get this going here. All right, here we go. All right, watch this kid on the left. All right, let me see if I can freeze this. All right, now watch this guy right over here. All right, they're all pretty good, okay? But how he's moving, his knees are inside his ankles, he's moving with his base. He doesn't raise his shoulders up. In fact, none of them do. They don't raise their shoulders up and down. They're moving with their knees bent. You have to train them to play with their knees bent. You have to train them in this position, okay? So they're going to move side to side, right? And they're going to move forward and backwards, okay? They're not going to raise their level, right? And they're going to do something with their hands. They're going to do something with their hands, okay? So this is it, the demeanor drill. Right, now how long, Coach? How long do we do this? Okay? It doesn't matter, you don't have to do it fast. You don't have to do it fast. You just get them in that posture and you get them to move their feet, right? Keep their knees bent. It's how they do it. It's not how fast they do it, okay? It's how they do it. Key deal, right? So I'm training them to get in a body posture that they're going to need, okay, when they're playing. Okay, when the ball is snapped, the body posture that you're going to need, right? Because I want to train them to play with their knees bent, because in the fourth quarter, right, when the other team gets tired and they start straightening their legs out, okay, we're still going to be able to play with our knees bent. We're going to still keep our knees bent and play the game. So this is the demeanor drill, okay? I'll answer any questions. Now, this right here, right, look at the stance. He's got the inside of the elbow on the outside of the knee. Right, he's got this arm relaxed. The inside of the elbow's on the outside knee. He's got this arm relaxed. That hand's about where his ear is, his outside eye, whatever. He's got his inside foot flat. He's got his stagger, his outside leg. His knees are just slightly inside his ankles. Okay? Right, if you're going to copy somebody's stance, copy that kid's stance. Copy that. Just look at that and say, hey, want to get in the stance? Get in that stance right there. Okay? All right, so you can leave the line of scrimmage on the angles you need to leave the line of scrimmage at. Okay? So let's see what happens when he's running. See, he takes his first step, whether it's a lateral step we're working on that day, whether it's a lead step, whether it's a drop step, whatever it is, but he's got his knee inside. He's got his knee inside his ankle, right? He's got his knee slightly inside the ankle. His center of gravity is down the middle of his body, okay? It's not from one side to the other. His elbows are tight, okay? His elbows will be tight when he starts to run, okay? Watch him. And you go by 10 yards. He goes by the 10-yard stripe. He doesn't stop short of the 10-yard stripe. He goes by the 10-yard stripe, okay? Now that kid, the second kid here, now he's the line coach for the New York Giants. The kid in back room here, I teach him well. Here we go. See, I have to work with him because his elbows. See his elbows? No. Get your elbows tight. Okay, next kid. They run with their knees bent. Okay, we see that kid's a little stiff right there. Right? See somebody stiff, that kid's stiff. Okay, now this kid from Notre Dame, kid named Mike Gandy, played for 12 or 13 years in the NFL. See the difference in flexibility? 1, 2, 3. They run with their knees bent on their insteps. This kid was all pro for me from Texas A&M, Rick Stucker. Okay, run with their knees bent. Right now, we go to the next part of the drill, which is the angle of departure. First step, second step, third step. You take the first step, okay? The hands are coming up. They should be actually going up more than he has it right here, okay? The hands are coming up, right? You're covering up that outside foot or that foot here, okay? The second, now the knee turns in a little bit, right? So you take the first step drill. Shoulders should be coming forward a little bit. Eyes on my target. Okay, first step drill, 1 step, not complicated, 1 step. Okay, here we go, first step drill. Go again, let's go, first step, too far with the inside knee, just slightly, you don't have to turn it slightly. First step again, and keep doing it, first step again. Here we go. All right, let's go to second step drill. Now watch this kid here, the second kid in, he was a real good player, Chris Valerio, really good. See how his butt's a little lower than his shoulders? His butt's a little lower than his shoulders. That's where it should be. Okay, shoulders are coming out. Okay, right, the elbow's on the outside of the knee. Okay, you guys see all this, his hands relaxed. Okay, right, he's coming this way with his force. Okay, now this step comes too far. That step's a little too far. Okay, so then you got to correct them. All right, you correct them and you go to the next part. Okay, here we go. All right, see what's happens. Too far with the second step. Now watch this next one. Okay, come on, Barrio, get your ass together. All right, here we go. 1, 2, see the short step? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That kid played for 14 years in the National Football League. I can't. 1, 2, 3. He played for me for 6. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's the 3 steps. That's the angle of departure drill. Now, you as the coach, okay, you're going to start making the corrections. You walk around making corrections with all this stuff, okay? And then you have to take the bags and you have to move the bags, right? You may make it a little tighter. You may make it a little wider, right? You may put it head up. You may put it on the inside. So there, you're going to move the bags around based on the techniques you're going to see that week, okay? You're going to see more than one technique, then you may have to move the bag more than one time in the drill, okay? Here we go. Let's go to the next thing. So I want to get through this because I don't know how much time I got left, but I want to try to get you right to the drug. Okay, now this here, I'm taking and isolating the hips. I'm isolating the hips on this. Right now, watch. He catches himself with his hands. He catches himself with his hands. I say, now I don't want them to do that. Don't catch his hand on your belly. I want as much extension as I can get out of you. Don't catch yourself with your hands, okay? Watch, he does it again, right? Now, watch this kid. This is Mike Gandy again, right? Watch the difference here, okay? You see that extension? You see the extension difference? Look at this here as compared to the last guy, okay? They get great extension, explosions, like 6-point explosion, 4-point explosion stuff. They get great extension. That's what I want. I want to get them to unlock their hips. They can get their hips into the block, okay? Get their hips where they need them to be. Okay, let me see. I tell the guys, hey, your wives and your girlfriends, make sure They call me every day to make sure I'm going to do this drill. Okay? They pay me to make sure you guys do this stuff. All right, now next. Here's the same thing again, right? Bang, again. All right, now this is a little something. Jimmy Bowman was my tight end coach, okay? And Jimmy liked this drill so much, okay? If you got a guy that's grabbing, you got a guy that grabs the other guy. He grabs the other guy, okay? Right. I want them to do that, but I don't want them to do this. I don't want them to grab the outside of the guy. Grab him inside. Don't grab him on the outside, okay? So what I have them do is I clap their hands when a ball snap. Clap their hands and put your hands on. Just a drill. Clap your hands and put your hands on them. Right? Just a drill. Now, Jimmy went to Ohio State. Okay, he went to Ohio State with Russell. Right? And he liked it so much they did it in the games. They did it in the games. They end up winning the national championship, okay, down in the States. Right? So you can if you want to. I never had enough guts to do that, right? But he did. Okay, so, but it just trains them, right, to keep their hands a little tighter. Okay, so that's all this drill is here. Okay, that's all recruits. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame someday. So that's all we're trying to do here. Okay, this is for double teams. I'll try to fast forward this. This is just how I teach them to use their forearms, flippers and double teams. Okay, get to the next part of the drill here. Okay. I hope you guys are getting something out of this. All right, the next thing here, right after this kid, right here. This is the fit, drive, and finish part. Right, you fit in. You fit in. Let me see if I can back it up just to here. Right here, good. You fit into the defender. Now look, guys, listen to what I'm going to tell you here. You fit in, okay? He's got his elbows right that tight to the body here, okay? Right, his thumbs are up, okay? He's on his insteps. Right? He's fit into his block. That foot is basically underneath that, right? Right? That foot might be a little too deep, but so he's got it close, okay? So he fits into the box. Now, if you're going to build something in construction, the two strongest things you use is number one, the triangle, okay? Number one is a triangle. So if you got a triangle right there, right? If I took a line and drew it from the top of his shoulder, right, to his fingertips, as a triangle, that's the strongest thing known to man. That is the strongest thing known to man if you're trying to construct something, right, is a triangle. The second strongest thing known to man is the arch, right? And he's got, and I can't see it too much here, but he's got an arch in his back. Your body creates the two strongest things that are known to man, right? Use them. Use it. The body does that for you. Use it. Teach it. Make it work. Okay? Your body does that all by itself. For 200,000 years, it's been doing it. Okay? So there's a little tip for you there. All right? So now here, right, they start the drill. See the hips go first? I don't know if you can see it. The hips go first. Right, now the guy on defense, he goes right, go left, right, finish, and you finish. You finish. The other guy comes back. Now this is unrealistic. The guy on defense is not helping his buddy out because this one, the guy's going straight back. That's wrong. He's got to go on an angle to make the defender stay on the block. Okay, is that making sense to anybody here? So the defender does it, right? The defender's got he should have a helmet up more. All right, this is a different thing. This is, in every block, you guys don't have this stuff. I'm going to go quickly. In every block you guys have, there's a freeze. This kid was the best that I've ever coached, ever. Okay, so here's a triangle again. Here's your triangle. Here's your arch in the back. Okay, right there on the end of his steps. Okay, knees are inside the ankles. Well, in every block, you've got to freeze. When you hit the other guy, there's a freeze. Now, sometimes you can't see it. You can't see it because you're better than the guy and you move the guy, all right? But other times you can. You can see and feel it because you don't go anywhere, right? Bang, and you get that cold rush of stuff that comes into your throat. You say, oh my God. So now you have to fight through the freeze. So you need to keep your feet going, always keep your feet going. You may have to dip down and get another bite on the guy. And when the ball carrier gets there with the ball, the defender's going to have to release the pressure, right, and get to the ball carrier, right? Well, you got to keep the pressure on that guy. You got to keep your feet going and keep. So as he releases his pressure, you accelerate your feet. Now in this drill, you have to simulate the freeze with the harnesses. I had these made. I think Rogers has them. You can ask for John Green at Rogers and say you want the harnesses. And you got for Bob WYLIE, he'll tell you just what it is. Okay, so you have to simulate the freeze here. Now we do it for 10 yards. You may get 3 or 4 in 10 yards. Okay, in the game you're only going to get 1. You're only going to get 1 in the game, maybe 1. Okay, so we go and we simulate the freeze in the block. Okay, here we go. Get this thing going here. All right, here we go. This is Owen Cruz. I don't know if you guys know Owen. Some of you guys played a long time in the National Football League. Played for me for 6 years. Okay, see how they work? Oh, I lost it. Here we go. Here we go. I'll just let it run a little bit here. Here we go. Dip down, dip down, dip down. All right. Okay. Same thing here. Don't stop your feet. You got to bend a little more with the legs. Right. So we're going to fight through the freeze. The guys, when he feels the tug by the guy in back from him, that's when he dips. Okay. Same thing here. That's not bad. That's not bad. Don't stop your feet. Now right here. Right here. Where we going? Come on. This is the whole block. Now they're going to run the whole dry block. Okay, start to finish. Left side, you know, I go right down the line of scrimmage. Set hut. Now this would be 1 for us. 1. Here we go, guys. Set hut. We go. And you run the whole dry block. See the helmets, what they need to be? Okay. Start from the beginning. That's Killer's All Pro, Rex. Right, get in stance. Look at the stance. See how they gathered? They're condensed. They're condensed in their stance. Okay? I want them condensed in their stance. Right? They got good power angle. He's on the inside here. Elbows on the outside of the knee. Shoulders are square. Okay? Right? He's going to execute the perfect dry block here. Okay? It's not, there's no play. Forget plays. Forget schemes. Right? That guy's going to block that guy. Period. That's it. Right? If they can't do that, then they're probably not going to be able to play. Okay? So I take all those little parts and I put them together and you come up with this picture right here. Okay? Here we go. Dry block. Set up. Drive them. Here we go. Bang. Thumbs up. Elbows in. Finish. There's a finish. See the finish? Finished. Yeah. Bang. Finish. Everything's a finish. Hit. Finish. Now he's screwing around. He shouldn't be jumping. Yeah. Finish. So that's the blocking progression that I use. It's called run squares. Okay. There's a lot of little pieces that go into how the body works. Okay. For instance, if you take, I don't know if anybody can see this. It's better if I show you where I don't have anybody here. Right. If you take your arm and put it straight out in front of you and I go to push it, I can pull it right down. I'll be able to pull it right down. And I show the kids this. There's 10 of these that I do, right, to the guys when I first get them in the meeting room, right? If I take, right, then I say, okay, I'm going to make you strong. You're not going to lift the weight. Now, I want them to do is rotate their thumb up. And their arm is still straight out, right? And then you try to pull their arm down, right? And they feel, right, stronger. And you'll have a hard time trying to pull their arm down with their thumb up as opposed to when their arm is straight, okay, out in front of them, you can pull it down. Or just get the top of the hand and pull it down. They put their thumb up, you're going to have problems. Take that and put it next to your body, put it next to their body, I should say, with their thumb up and out, right? And the elbow close to the body. It forms a triangle, right? Try to pull that down, okay? Right? It's nearly impossible to do that, okay? You make them stronger because you got their body angles lined up. And there's 8 to 10 things on the body, right, that I show them the angles you need to be in to be as strong as you can be. I already told you one about the feet, keeping the knees inside, the ankles just a hair. Okay, all that stuff plays into it. Okay, plays into it. And I can leave you one last thing here before I go. Okay, I think, am I leaving now? You guys got to keep me on time here.
You're all good, Coach. We'll finish up and then we'll take a couple quick questions for you.
It's 8:00. If I could tell you one thing to give them, they can't be afraid to fail, guys. Right? They cannot be afraid to fail. Most people in life don't think big enough because they're afraid to fail. They really are. So they don't get what they need to be or want to be because they're afraid to make a move, because they're afraid to fail and they're afraid it's going to look bad for their wife, their girlfriend, their children, their grandmother, grandfather, mom, dad, brother, sister, whatever, right? Friends. Failure is not the problem. Everybody fails in life. You first started to walk, you fell down, you failed, but you got back up and you figured it out, okay? You're not going to be defined in life if you fail. You're defined in life on how far you've risen after you have fallen. That's what defines your life, okay? They can't be afraid to fail because if they are, they're not going to play at the highest level they need to play at to get you where you need to be. They're not going to get there because they're afraid to make a mistake. They're afraid because what happens, he's the first guy to know he made a mistake. So now what happens? You jump all over the kid for making a mistake, and then the coordinator jumps on the kid, and then the head coach jumps on the kid. And after a while, the kid don't want to move. That's not the problem. Fix the problem, right? Teach them. Don't tell them, teach them. Fix the problem, okay? He knows he made a mistake. You don't have to continually hammer the guy. Now, if he did it 6 times in a row, that's a different deal, right? But fix the problem. Coach the kid. Don't get him in a state of mind where he's afraid to fail, because he's going to be afraid to fail, right? He's going to do that, okay? Guys, there's going to be sacks. There's going to be missed assignments. The guys are going to go the wrong way. That's going to happen. It's how you handle it. It's how you handle it, guys. Don't get them in that I'm afraid to fail deal, because they're not going to play hard. I mean, they're not going to play fast enough or hard enough or long enough to get you where you want to be. Gentlemen, right? If you need me, call Chris. Call Chris. My email is Bob WYLIE, WYLIE, 2012 at Yahoo. Okay, that's my personal email. My Red Block email, right, is bwylie at ottawaredblacks.com. Okay, so if you need something, if you got a problem, okay, you can email me. Okay, I'll email you back. You can text me. All right, my number is 480-406-7728. I'll text you back. Okay, whatever you, okay. I've been doing this for a long time and sharing information and trying to get it right. Okay, it's okay. Okay, it's okay to share information, guys. Not snap counts and audible systems, but information. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Coach. I've got a few questions here in the Q&A. If you've got a couple more minutes, we'll hit you with a couple quick ones here. But thank you so much for that. I love the advice of not being afraid to fail. It always makes me think, I mean, life, sports, but hearing a guy like Mark Nelson, who's our former DC here and linebackers coach, he says, talking to him about failure, he says, I've been cut, fired in every possible way from every possible team that you can imagine. You know, he's come back for more and had success. So, you know, if you let one failure or getting cut from one team stop you, you're in a worse position. Let's start with this one. What sorts of drills could you suggest for an O lineman to practice at home, especially right now when people don't have access maybe to their teammates and facilities? What's some easy stuff you can do?
Right, go get a pillow off your mother's couch and throw it in the backyard. Okay, put it on the ground, right, and start working on your angles on the line of scrimmage. First step, second step, third step. Right, you can do that demeanor drill. You can work on your stance. You can work on a stance. You can work on a demeanor drill. You can work on running the duck demeanor. You can work on your angle of departure from the line of scrimmage. Okay, you don't need anybody for that. All you need to do is get something on the ground that simulates a defender, and usually the pillows on your mother's couch or chair work just fine. Then you get that before she gets home.
Practical, and it'll save you a few bucks. When it comes to young linemen, Coach, in that 12 to 17-year-old range, just getting started, if you're going to pick one or two drills that you should start them out with, to get those essentials down? Where do you start as a jumping off point?
Same thing. It's the same thing. I've been coaching this stuff for God knows how many years. I was a high school coach, junior high school coach, and I coach this stuff, okay, because it's how the body works, okay? Teach them how to get in a proper stance. Teach them, right, what a proper stance looks like, what it feels like, right? Teach them how to move with their knees bent. Teach them how to move forward, backward, side to side, keeping a base. Teach them how to run with a base. Your body has to do that during the course of the block. Teach them how to adjust and stay on a block. And you can go all the way back to Pop Warner and do this stuff.
Fantastic. We got one here say, Andy just says, best session ever. Bob needs his own TV show. So let's get started on that. And then finally, again, I'll always count on my buddy Mike Sutherland, former offensive lineman in the CFL, for asking a good question. What are you asking guys to do on short yardage typically, Bob, in terms of their stance, their get off, that whole process of going up in short yardage?
We always try to crowd the ball, and I say, crowd as much as you can until the official pulls you back, right? And the official is going to move you back. The good officials will say, hey, get him back off the ball. They're too far up, okay? Get as much as the ball as you can. We really don't step the sequence of motions a little bit differently. We more uncoil with both feet. We kind of uncoil with both feet, and then the step comes. You know, when you're in 1st and 10 football, you're taking steps, second step, third step, right? And you're moving that way. In short yardage and goal line, you're basically just uncoiling with both, you're lunging almost, right? And then the feet come later in the block, okay? Because if you don't, that guy in defense, he's uncoiling. He ain't stepping. He's just doing the same thing. They say get lower than the other guy. And it's tough to do on that situation, but you're trying, okay? You know, it's better, you know, if you're kind of blocking down on somebody, you got a better chance because I tell them, hit them right in the head. I shouldn't do that one. Go ahead.
Just get in there. Great stuff. Well, Coach, thank you again so much. Thanks to all the coaches that have joined us on here tonight for this session in the Ottawa Redblacks Virtual Coaching Clinic presented by the fine folks at the OSEG Foundation. You can get more from Coach Wylie tomorrow at noon. He's making a quick pop by phone to TSN 1200 radio to talk to our team with AJ Jackubek over at TSN 1200. So tune into that. We've got Chris Tormey coming up on Thursday at 7 o'clock for the final session of these coaching clinics. So register for that if you haven't already. And yeah, you know, that's it. Take care, stay safe. And if you need any of that contact information, feel free to shoot me a note. Thank you very much, Coach. Again, I'm Chris Hoffley, the manager of communications for OSEG, and looking forward to talking to you all on Thursday.